Hello, Scrufftards and Weirdos. Welcome to the War Zone. I'm Scruffy, and this is Scruffy Tales. And yep, Putin challenged NATO, and in the end, Russia folded. So, yesterday we learned that Russia had plans to adjust maritime borders in the Baltic region. They had made a statement that had been put out on official online sites and stuff like that. And this caused a ruckus. And I made a video about it. And funnily enough, after a couple of hours, as we can see here reported by Reuters, uh, the draft decree is deleted without explanation. So Russia's defense ministry proposes changes in a draft decree uh, concerning the borders at sea in the Baltic region. A bit unclear what the changes would look like in the end. And then all of a sudden, everything is deleted. And Finland, Sweden, Lithuania, and Estonia, as you can imagine, they are a bit upset, a bit curious what the hell's going on, especially Finland, Lithuania, and Estonia, since Russia intended to adjust their borders at sea. So that happened, and yeah, it appears as if Russia now has no intentions of doing anything because they removed everything from their official sites. And what the Russians were talking about in their statement was adjusting the border up here with Finland and over here with Estonia and down here where we have Kaliningrad, the Russian enclave, and the border with Lithuania at sea. I mean, what the hell? Russia, seriously, what are you doing? Maybe someone done goofed and published something that wasn't meant to be published. Maybe they're talking about it in secret, and for some reason someone made it official. I mean, that happened before. That's how we learned that Russia intended to conquer Ukraine in, what was it, 1 week? Because the official statement that, haha, we won over Ukraine was released. Because I guess someone just followed orders and said, and had a memo that said on this date you release this statement. And it could be something like that took place once again, that someone just did what he was told and released the statement, but it was a bit premature, right? So maybe Russia is still considering this, and this, who knows? But as of now, the statement has been removed, and Russia appears to be pretending that nothing ever happened. And I mean, it does kind of look a bit like Russia did dumb goof. They challenged NATO in the Baltic region. All the NATO countries went, what the fuck's going on? Are you really sure you want to do this? And Russia just pretended that, no, 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 nothing happened. Ignore us. We didn't do anything. What are you talking about, right? And so Russia challenged NATO and within 24 hours folded under the pressure. And, Lake NATO is and remains intact despite Russian shenanigans. And in the end, the Russian bear tuck-tailed and ran away from old man NATO with his hunting rifle. So yeah, Gulf of Cope, it appears to be an accurate name for the Gulf of Finland these days, as Russia tries to flex muscles, but pretty obviously doesn't have any strength behind the flex itself. But on a more serious note, there may actually be a plan behind all of this. Russia could actually have an elaborate scheme going on here, right? They could have released this knowingly and then removed it all according to plan. Because what does it do? It increases tension in the Baltic region. And it makes people skeptical, angry, and suspicious towards Russia even more. I mean, as incredible as it sounds, yes, the Baltic countries, Sweden, Finland, the Baltic states, we can always get a little bit more skeptical and suspicious towards Russia. There's no ceiling. There's always room for more skepticism, more suspicion. And what this could mean is that Sweden may not send Gripen to Ukraine. Because if Russia is up to shenanigans in our neighborhood, we may not feel secure in providing operational Gripen from our Air Force. We may build new ones for Ukraine, obviously, but we will not potentially send aircraft from our own Air Force. That the armed forces may feel the need to keep everything we have at home. And we also know that Lithuania is considering sending troops to Ukraine, actual soldiers, NATO forces, in other words. Or NATO aligned forces, I should say. And if something like this happens in and around the Baltic states, Lithuania may not do that. They may think, okay, shit, we need our troops at home. And that could be a very important step for Russia to intervene and prevent. Because if Lithuania puts troops in Ukraine, others may follow, right? Then maybe Poland sends troops, maybe Sweden sends troops, maybe France, the UK, maybe the United States will send troops to Ukraine because Lithuania took that first step. Kind of like with Britain and the tanks. United Kingdom provided tanks, and then everyone said, okay, fuck it, have every tank you need, basically, almost. So if Russia does this and just stir things up without any intentions of actually moving borders around, that could convince Lithuania to, you know what, we will keep our troops at home because we may need them, we might need them. And that means no NATO aligned forces in Ukraine, and then that door remains shut and the floodgates are not open for full NATO presence in Ukraine, right? So this could actually be part of an elaborate scheme to keep Western forces out of Ukraine, and so that Russia is only fighting Ukrainian soldiers. Not that Lithuania would send their troops to the front line, but chances increase of a confrontation between Western NATO forces and Russia if you have troops in Ukraine, right? So I'm thinking there may be some logic to the insanity here. And well, not much else to add. Russia thought they could fuck around, and well, instead of finding out, they folded before they had to find out. With the caveat that this may be an attempt to prevent Lithuania from sending troops, thereby opening the floodgates and that may convince other countries to send troops. And also it may prevent Sweden from deploying highly effective, deadly capable Gripen fighters to Ukraine. So who knows? We'll see where all of this ends up in the end. But on a final note, how about a famous phrase from Swedish-Finnish history? Släpp ingen jävel över bron. Don't let any bastards over the bridge. See you around.